Welcome to EllitpiGO's online support videos. In this video, we will review how to change your stride length. Start by placing the bike on the kickstand. As looking from the bike from the left side, use a 2.5mm Allen wrench to loosen the right drive arm axle retention screw. You will rotate the Allen wrench clockwise until the screw is completely removed. Using a 6mm Allen wrench, and for those who do not have a crank axle retention screw, you use a 6mm Allen wrench to detach the drive arm axle from the crank arm by rotating the wrench clockwise and loosen until the axle is fully removed from the crank arm. Remove the pedal washer from the crank arm counter bore and insert it into the counter bore of the new stride position. Insert the drive arm axle into the new mounting position on the crank arm. Using your 6mm Allen wrench, rotate the wrench counterclockwise, still looking at the bike from the left side, to tighten it. While tightening, ensure that the washer stays seated flat in the counter bore on the crank arm. You will torque to 34 Newton meters. If your bike is only equipped with the crank axle, you do not need to finish this step. If your bike has the crank axle retention screw, insert the retention screw into the crank axle and tighten by rotating counterclockwise. Make sure that the retention screw is flush, but do not over tighten. Change the stride length on the left side. As looking at the bike from the right, you will use your 2.5mm Allen wrench and rotate the wrench counterclockwise to remove the axle retention screw. Remove the retention screw fully, and if you do not have a retention screw, you will use your 6mm Allen wrench to detach the crank axle from the crank arm, again by rotating the Allen wrench counterclockwise to fully detach the drive arm from the crank arm. Remove the pedal washer from the crank arm counter bore and insert it into the counter bore of the new stride position. Make sure the washer stays seated. Then tighten the drive arm axle by rotating it clockwise. Fully seat the drive arm axle into the crank arm. Then using your 2.5mm Allen wrench, for those of you that have a crank axle retention screw, and tighten the crank axle retention screw by going clockwise until it is flush against the crank arm. Again, do not over tighten this screw. If you have any questions or concerns regarding changing your stride length, please contact EllitpiGO's customer service at 858-876-8677.